The ship was ugly. Everyone in the galaxy agreed on this. Captain Park Jisoo stood on the bridge of the Dandelion and looked at the stars through a window that had a small crack in the corner. The crack had been there since they left Earth 6 months ago. They did not have the materials to fix it. They did not have the materials to fix many things. The Dandelion was a converted mining freighter. Before humanity found it floating in an asteroid belt, it had been used to carry rocks and ice from one place to another. Now it carried 47 humans into the heart of the most dangerous empire in the known galaxy. "Captain, we are receiving another transmission," said Lieutenant Kim Do-yeon. He sat at the communications console, his face lit by the blue glow of the screen. He was a tall man with tired eyes. He had not slept well since they entered Varth space. "Play it," Jisoo said. The speakers crackled. Alien voices filled the bridge, speaking in the common galactic tongue. They were laughing. The sound was harsh and cruel. "Look at this thing," one voice said. "The humans sent a garbage ship. How many weapons does it have?" Another voice asked. "Our scanners show two small guns. They could not scratch the paint on a shuttle." More laughter. "I give them 10 seconds when the fleet finds them. Maybe 5? The transmission ended. Silence returned to the bridge. Navigator Yoon Hana turned in her chair. She was the youngest member of the crew, only 24 years old, but her hands never shook when she guided the ship through danger. "They have been laughing at us for 3 days now. Does it not bother you, Captain?" Jisoo smiled. It was a small smile, barely visible. Let them laugh. Laughter makes people careless. In truth, the alien voices did not bother her. She had heard worse on Earth. When she was young, people had laughed at her dreams of flying among the stars. When she joined the space program, they laughed at her small size and quiet voice. When she was chosen to lead humanity's first diplomatic mission, half the world said she was the wrong choice. She had stopped caring about laughter a long time ago. "How far to the Keldris Gate?" she asked. Hana checked her instruments. 4 hours at current speed. "But Captain, the Varth flagship is waiting there." "The Dominion. 12 dreadnoughts in formation around it." "I know. Each dreadnought is bigger than our ship by a factor of 50. Their weapons could destroy a moon." "I know this also." Hana paused. "Do we have a plan?" Before Jisoo could answer, the door to the bridge opened. Chief Engineer Baek Sung-woo walked in, wiping grease from his hands with a dirty cloth. He was a short man with gray hair and deep lines on his face. He had been building things since before most of the crew was born. "The device is almost ready," he said. 2 more hours." Jisoo nodded. "Will it work?" Sung-woo laughed. It was a different kind of laugh than the alien voices. There was warmth in it, and a little bit of madness. "Captain, I have no idea. The math says yes. The simulations say yes. But no one has ever tried this before. We are doing something completely new." "That is what humans do," Jisoo said. "We try new things." Sung-woo smiled and returned to the engineering bay. Tactical Officer Shin Yoonji spoke up from her station. She was watching the scanner display, her eyes moving back and forth as she tracked the positions of enemy ships. "The Varth patrol fleet has changed course. 6 destroyers. They will intercept us in 90 minutes. Da-hin turned to face the captain. "Should we change course? Try to go around them?" "No," Jisoo said. "We go straight through." The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what this meant. They would meet the enemy before Sun-woo's device was ready. They would have to survive on their own. Communications officer Lee Mi-rae broke the silence. She was a small woman with a soft voice, but when she spoke, people listened. "Captain, may I ask you something?" "Yes. Why did you volunteer for this mission? You know what the Varth do to their enemies. You know we might not go home." Jisoo thought about the question. She walked to the window with the cracked corner and looked out at the stars. So many stars. So many worlds. Most of them lived in fear of the Varath Empire. When I was a child, she said, my grandmother told me a story. She said that long ago, humans lived in caves. They were small and weak. The world was full of animals that could kill them easily. Lions, bears, wolves. But humans survived. Do you know why? Myray shook her head. Because we refused to accept that we were small. We made tools. We made fire. We worked together. And one day, the animals that had hunted us began to fear us instead. Jisoo turned to face her crew. The Vara think we are small. They think we are weak. They look at our one ugly ship and they laugh. But they do not understand what humans are. What are we? Panna asked. We are the species that refuses to give up. We are the species that finds a way. Always. The crew was quiet for a moment. Then Do-hyun nodded slowly. I believe you, Captain. I just hope the Varath give us a chance to prove it. An alarm began to sound. Yoonji's fingers flew across her console. Contact. The patrol fleet is moving faster than expected. They will reach us in 60 minutes. Jisoo walked back to her command chair and sat down. Her heart was beating fast, but her voice was calm. All hands to battle stations. Myray, open a channel to the enemy. Channel open. Jisoo took a breath. Varath Patrol Fleet, this is Captain Park Jisoo of the Earth vessel Dandelion. We are on a diplomatic mission to speak with your Emperor. We are not here to fight. The response came quickly. The alien voice was cold and filled with contempt. Human vessel, you are trespassing in Vara space. You have no right to be here. Surrender your ship and prepare to be boarded. If you resist, you will be destroyed. We will not surrender, Jisoo said. But we will not fire on you either. We only wish to talk. Laughter again. That cruel, harsh sound. Talk? You wish to talk? Little human, the Varath do not talk to insects. We step on them. The channel closed. Yoonji looked at her captain. They are charging weapons. Jisoo smiled that small smile again. Good. Then they are not thinking clearly. When people are angry, they make mistakes. Captain, Hana said, her voice tight with fear, with respect. They have enough firepower to destroy us 100 times over. We cannot survive this. Maybe, Jisoo said. Maybe not. Humanity has survived impossible things before. She pressed a button on her chair. Sungwoo, I need that device working in 60 minutes, not 2 hours. Can you do it? Sungwoo's voice came back, tired but determined. I will try, Captain. I will try. Jisoo looked around the bridge at her crew. 47 people. One small ship. The whole galaxy watching and laughing. But Park Jisoo was not afraid. She had been underestimated her whole life. She had learned that being underestimated was a weapon if you knew how to use it. The Varath would learn this lesson soon. Hold course, she ordered. We go straight through. The Dandelion flew on toward the enemy, a tiny spark of light in the endless dark of space. The 6 Varath destroyers came out of the darkness like predators hunting prey. Each ship was 300 meters long, covered in black armor and bristling with weapons. They moved in perfect formation, surrounding the Dandelion on all sides. On the bridge, everyone was quiet. Navigator Yoon Hana watched her instruments with wide eyes. The enemy ships were so close now that she could see their weapon ports glowing with energy. They are locking weapons, Tactical Officer Shin Yoonji reported. Her voice was steady, but her hands were gripping the edge of her console. All 6 ships, targeting our engine section and bridge. Captain Park Jisoo sat in her command chair, very still. Time until they fire? 30 seconds. Maybe less. Lieutenant Kim Do-yoon turned around. Captain, Sunwoo says the device is not ready. He needs 10 more minutes. We do not have 10 minutes. Communications Officer Lee My-rae spoke up. Captain, the Varth commander is hailing us. He wants to speak. Put him through. The main screen flickered. A Varth face appeared. The alien was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 eyes that burned with orange light. When he spoke, his voice was like metal scraping against stone. Human Captain, I am Commander Volk of the Vorth Imperial Fleet. I give you one final chance. Surrender your vessel and your crew will be taken as slaves. This is mercy. Refuse, and I will reduce your ship to atoms. Jisoo looked at the alien face on the screen. She thought about her grandmother's stories. She thought about all the times in human history when someone powerful had demanded surrender. Commander Volk, she said, I thank you for your offer. But humans do not surrender. Volk's 4 eyes narrowed. Then you choose death. No, Jisoo said quietly. I choose something else. She pressed a button on her chair. Sunwoo, whatever you have right now, turn it on. From the engineering bay, Sunwoo's voice came back, strained and worried. Captain, it is not calibrated properly. I do not know what will happen. Turn it on anyway. There was a pause. Then Sunwoo said, Yes, Captain. Deep inside the dandelion, something began to hum. It was a low sound at first, barely noticeable. Then it grew louder and louder until the whole ship was vibrating. On the Varth ships, alarms began to sound. Commander Volk's face twisted with confusion. What is this? What are you doing? Before Jisoo could answer, the Vorth opened fire. 6 destroyers released their weapons at the same moment. Beams of blue energy shot toward the dandelion. Each beam carried enough power to punch through a mountain. The beams hit the space where the dandelion was floating, and they passed through empty air. The dandelion was still there. The crew could see the beams passing by on their screens, but the weapons did not touch them. It was as if the ship existed in a different place, a different reality. What happened? Hannah whispered. EUNG was staring at her instruments with shock on her face. The weapons. They missed. All of them missed. They did not miss, came Sunwoo's voice over the intercom. He sounded just as surprised as everyone else. The device is working. We are phase shifted. We exist in a slightly different dimension than the rest of the universe. Their weapons cannot touch us because, technically, we are not here. On the screen, Commander Volk was screening orders. The Varus ships fired again. And again. Blue beams of destruction crossed through the space where the dandelion floated. Nothing happened. The human ship sat there, untouched, like a ghost. This is impossible. Volk shouted. His voice was no longer cold and confident. It was filled with fear and rage. No species has this technology. No species. Jisoo leaned forward. Commander, perhaps you should update your information about humans. We are full of surprises. All ships, concentrate fire. Maximum power. The 6 destroyers unleashed everything they had. The space around the dandelion lit up like a sun. Any other ship would have been vaporized instantly. The dandelion remained whole. My-rae turned to the captain. They have stopped firing. I think they are out of power. Jisoo nodded. Hannah, take us through their formation. Straight ahead. Through them? Captain, they are right in front of us. I know. They cannot hurt us. Let us show them what that means. Hannah took a deep breath and pushed the throttle forward. The dandelion moved ahead, slowly at first, then faster. The Vorath destroyers hung in space, weapons empty, unable to stop the human ship. The dandelion passed between 2 of them, close enough that the crews could see each other through the windows. Jisoo imagined what the Vorath must be thinking. For 3,000 years, they had been the most powerful force in the galaxy. Their weapons could destroy anything. Their empire had never faced an enemy it could not crush. And now, one small human ship was flying past them like they did not exist. "Commander Volk," Jisoo said, her voice calm and polite, "please tell your emperor that we are coming to talk. We mean no harm, but we will not be stopped." She closed the channel. The Dandelion flew on toward the Keldris Gate, leaving the 6 silent destroyers behind. Daryun let out a breath he had been holding for a long time. I do not have words for what that was. "Incredible?" Hana said. "That is the word. It was incredible." Yoonji was smiling for the first time since they left Earth. Did you see their faces? They had no idea what to do. But Jisoo did not smile. She was thinking about what came next. The destroyers were only the first test. The real challenge waited at the Keldris Gate. "Sunwoo," she said into the intercom, "how long can the device keep working?" "Hard to say, Captain. The power requirements are very high. Maybe 4 hours, maybe less. That will have to be enough." "Keep it running." "Yes, Captain." Myre looked at the star map on her console. "Captain, I am picking up transmissions from across the sector. News of what happened here is spreading. The other species are talking about us. What are they saying?" Myre listened for a moment, her translator working to convert the alien languages. "They are confused. Some think it is a trick. Some think we have made a deal with the Vorath. But some—" She paused, her eyes widening. "Some are calling us hope." Jisoo felt something warm in her chest. Hope. It was a small word, but it meant everything. For too long, the galaxy had lived under the Vorath shadow. Worlds had been conquered. Species had been enslaved. No one had dared to stand against the Empire because everyone knew it was pointless. But now, one small ship had shown that the Vorath were not invincible. Their weapons could be defeated. Their power could be challenged. "We are not heroes," Jisoo said quietly. "We are just humans doing what humans do. We survive. We adapt. We find a way. And we annoy powerful people who underestimate us." Dahyun added with a small grin. Jisoo allowed herself a brief smile. "Yes, that too." Ahead of them, the Keldris Gate grew larger on the view screen. It was a massive ring of alien metal, built by a species that had disappeared long before the Vorath rose to power. Ships used it to travel across the galaxy in seconds, and around it, waiting in perfect formation, was the Vorath Obsidian Fleet, 40 dreadnoughts. The most powerful military force ever assembled. The Dominion, flagship of Emperor Thalox himself, floated at the center like a dark star. "Wow," Hannah said, her voice small. "We got their attention." Jisoo nodded. "Now comes the hard part." The Dandelion flew on, a tiny point of light against the endless darkness, carrying 47 humans toward the heart of an empire. The Obsidian Fleet was the most frightening thing Yoon Hannah had ever seen. 40 dreadnoughts, hung in the darkness around the Keldris Gate. Each one was over 2 kilometers long. Their hulls were painted black, absorbing light like holes in space. Weapon arrays covered every surface. Thousands of guns that could turn planets into Ashdod, and at the center floated the Dominion, the personal warship of Emperor Thalox. It was even larger than the others, a mountain of metal and death. "They are not moving," reported Shin Yoonji, studying her tactical display. "They are just waiting." Captain Park Jisoo understood why. News of what happened to the destroyer patrol had reached them. They knew their weapons might not work against the human ship. So instead of attacking blindly, they were thinking, planning. That worried her more than aggression would have. "How much power does the phase device have left?" she asked. Chief Engineer Baek Sun Woo's voice came through the intercom, tired and strained. 2 hours, maybe 2.5. We are using power faster than I expected. 2 hours. It was not much time. Lieutenant Kim Do-yoon turned from his station. Captain, I am receiving transmissions from the other species. The Krell, the Luminari, the Merchant clans. They are all watching this. What are they saying? Mostly questions. They want to know who we are. They want to know how we survived the Vorath weapons. And they want to know. He paused. They want to know if we can do it again. Communications Officer Lee My-Ray spoke up. Captain, the Dominion is hailing us. Emperor Thalox himself wants to speak. Jisoo took a moment to straighten her uniform. It was old and worn, patched in several places. But she wore it with pride. It was the uniform of Earth, of humanity, of her people. Put him through. The main view screen changed. A throne room appeared, vast and decorated with the bones of conquered species. On the throne sat Emperor Thalox. He was old, even by Vorath standards. His gray skin had turned almost white, and his 4 orange eyes had faded to pale yellow. But there was still power in his voice, still authority in the way he sat. So, he said slowly, you are the human captain, the one who made fools of my patrol fleet. I am Captain Park Jisoo of Earth. I did not come to make fools of anyone. I came to talk. Thalox laughed. It was a dry, hollow sound. Talk, yes. My commanders told me you said this. But I wonder, human, what do you think we could possibly have to discuss? Peace, Jisoo said simply. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Peace? The Vorath do not need peace. We have power. We have always had power. For 3,000 years, we have ruled this galaxy. I know. And I know how you got that power. The throne room went very quiet. Thalox leaned forward slightly. What do you mean by that? Jisoo chose her words carefully. This was the most dangerous part of her plan. One wrong step and everything would fall apart. I mean that the Vorath did not invent their technology. They found it. On your homeworld, buried deep beneath the surface. Remains of a species that existed long before your people learned to walk. Thalox's face did not change, but his hands gripped the arms of his throne tightly. You speak lies. I speak truth. Humans are very good at finding truth. We are curious. We ask questions. We dig and search until we understand. Jisoo took a step closer to the view screen. You found ancient machines and ancient weapons. You learned to copy them. And then you made sure no other species could ever do the same thing. Every world you conquered, you burned their libraries, killed their scientists, stopped them from advancing. Enough. Thalox stood from his throne. He was tall, nearly 3 meters, and his voice echoed through the chamber. You know nothing. You are insects. Your species has been traveling the stars for less than 200 years. That is true. We are young. We are small. We have 1 ship with 2 guns and a crew of 47. Jisoo's voice remained calm. But we learned something that your empire never did. We learned that power does not come from weapons or ships or armies. Power comes from knowledge, from ideas, from refusing to give up when everyone tells you that you have already lost. Thalox glared at her through the screen. His eyes burned with ancient hatred. What do you want, human? Why are you really here? I told you. I want to talk about peace. There can be no peace between the Vorath and lesser species. This is the natural order. Jisoo shook her head slowly. There is no natural order. There is only what we choose. And I am offering you a choice, Emperor. You can continue to rule through fear and destruction. You can keep burning libraries and killing anyone who might challenge you. But one day, someone will find a way to defeat you. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But eventually, your empire will fall. Or Or you can change. You can share what you have learned. You can help the galaxy grow instead of keeping it trapped. You can be remembered as the species that led others toward the light instead of the darkness. Thalox was quiet for a long moment. Around him, his guards stood like statues, weapons ready. Then he began to laugh. It started small and grew louder and louder until it filled the throne room. You are amusing, human. I will give you that. You come to my space in your garbage ship. You cannot be killed by my weapons. And you stand there and lecture me about peace and change. He shook his head. But you have made a mistake. You have shown me that you are a threat. And the Varth do not allow threats to exist. Emperor, please, no more talking. Thalox raised his hand. I do not know how your ship survives our weapons. But I know this. You cannot survive forever. You will make a mistake. Your technology will fail. And when it does, I will be waiting. He turned to someone off screen. Order all ships to surround the human vessel. Nothing gets through. We will wait them out. Eventually, they will have to lower their defenses. And then we will destroy them. The screen went dark. Jisoo stood very still for a moment. The bridge was silent around her. That did not go well, Doyun said quietly. No, it did not. Jisoo walked to the window and looked out at the Vareth fleet. 40 dreadnoughts were moving into a sphere formation around the dandelion. There would be no way to escape, no way to run. Sun Wu, she said into the intercom. How long until the main device is ready? The transmitter? 40 minutes, Captain. Maybe 35 if I skip the safety checks. Skip them. We do not have 40 minutes. Myray looked worried. Captain, what is the transmitter? What are we really doing here? Jisoo turned to face her crew. They all looked at her with fear and hope mixed together in their eyes. They trusted her. They had followed her across the galaxy, knowing they might never go home. They deserved the truth. We are not here to fight the Vareth, she said. We are not here to defeat them with weapons or tricks. We are here to do something much more important. What? Hannah asked. Jisoo smiled. It was a tired smile, but there was warmth in it. We are here to set the galaxy free. Outside, the Vareth fleet closed in around them like a fist. The trap was complete. There was nowhere to go, but Park Jisoo was not worried about escape. She was thinking about what came next, about the message they would send, about the change they would bring. The galaxy had lived in fear long enough. It was time to give them something else. The Vareth fleet formed a perfect sphere around the dandelion. 40 dreadnoughts, each one powerful enough to destroy a city, all pointing their weapons at one small human ship. Inside the engineering bay, Chief Engineer Beek Sunwoo worked faster than he had ever worked in his life. His hands moved over circuits and cables, connecting pieces of technology that should not work together, but somehow did. The transmitter was almost ready. It had taken human scientists 50 years to build. 50 years of studying every piece of alien technology they could find. 50 years of asking questions that no one else in the galaxy dared to ask. And now it all came down to this moment. Captain Park Jisoo stood beside him, watching. Talk to me, Sunwoo. What exactly will this device do? Sunwoo wiped sweat from his forehead. Do you remember what I told you about the Vareth technology? How they found it buried on their homeworld? Yes. Well, their technology runs on a specific frequency, a signal that tells the machines what to do. For 3,000 years, the Vareth have been the only ones who knew this frequency. They kept it secret. Anyone who got close to discovering it, they disappeared. Jisoo nodded. She had read the reports. Scientists from a dozen species had been killed over the centuries. Research stations destroyed. Entire libraries burned. The Vareth had worked very hard to make sure no one else could catch up. So the transmitter will broadcast this frequency? She asked. Not just the frequency. Everything. Sunwoo connected one final cable and stepped back. Shield designs. Engine blueprints. Weapon systems. Everything the Varath have been hiding for 3,000 years. We are going to send it to every corner of the galaxy. Jisoo stared at the machine. It was not much to look at. A metal box covered with wires, powered by the ship's failing reactor. But it would change everything. How did we figure this out? The Varath have killed everyone who tried. Sunwoo smiled. Because humans are sneaky. We did not try to steal their technology. We studied the technology of the species they conquered. We found old records, hidden files, fragments of research that the Varath thought they had destroyed. And we put the pieces together slowly over 50 years. And they never noticed? They were not looking. The Varath do not fear insects, remember? They never imagined that the small, weak humans could be a threat. Sunwoo chuckled. Their arrogance saved us. An alarm began to sound. Lieutenant Kim Do-yoon's voice came over the intercom. Captain, the phase device is losing power. We have maybe 30 minutes before our shields fail. Jisoo looked at the transmitter. How long until we can activate this? 10 minutes. Maybe 15. Make it 10. She left the engineering bay and returned to the bridge. Through the view screen, she could see the Varath dreadnoughts all around them, waiting, patient, certain that their victory was only a matter of time. Navigator. Yoon-hana looked up as Jisoo entered. Captain, the Dominion is hailing us again. Emperor Thalox wants to talk. He wants to gloat, Jisoo corrected. Put him through. The Emperor's face appeared on the screen. He was smiling, showing rows of sharp teeth. Human Captain, I have been watching your power readings. Your defensive technology is failing. In less than an hour, you will be helpless. You are correct, Jisoo admitted. Thalox seemed surprised by her honesty. Then, you cannot win. Surrender now, and I will make your death quick. Your crew will become slaves, but they will live. This is my final offer. I have a counteroffer. You are in no position to make offers. Listen anyway. Jisoo stepped closer to the screen. In a few minutes, we are going to broadcast a message. Every species in the galaxy will receive it. This message contains all of your secrets, Emperor. Every piece of stolen technology that your empire has kept hidden for 3,000 years. Thalox's smile disappeared. His 4 eyes went wide. You are lying. I am not. In a few minutes, the Krell will have access to Varath shield technology. The Luminari will understand your weapon systems. The merchant clans will know how to build ships as powerful as your dreadnoughts. Jisoo paused. Your monopoly on power is about to end. Impossible. No species has this knowledge. We destroyed all records. We killed everyone who knew. You missed some. And humans are very good at finding things that others have lost. Thalox's face twisted with rage. All ships? Fire everything. Destroy them now. The view screen went dark. Seconds later, the universe around the dandelion turned white as 40 dreadnoughts opened fire at once. The ship shook violently. Warning alarms screamed. Hannah grabbed her console to keep from falling. Phase device at 10%. Yoonji shouted. We cannot take much more. Sunwoo, Jisoo called into the intercom. Now would be a good time. Almost there. 30 seconds. The ship shook again. Harder this time. Something exploded somewhere in the lower decks. Phase device at 5%. Jisoo closed her eyes. 28 seconds left. She counted in her head. 20-5, 20.15. Phase device failing. 10. The ship jerked as the first Varath beam broke through their defenses and hit the outer hull. Metal groaned and screamed. 5. Transmitter is ready. Sunwoo's voice came through, triumphant. Activating now. The dandelion pulsed with light. For one brief moment, it shone brighter than any star in the sky. The light spread outward in all directions, passing through the Varth ships, passing through the Keldris Gate, spreading across the galaxy at the speed of thought. And with that light went humanity's gift to the universe. Every species with a quantum receiver heard the same thing. Data flooded their systems, blueprints, schematics, formulas, secrets that had been hidden for 3,000 years. Now available to everyone. On the bridge of the Dominion, Emperor Thalox watched his command screens light up with reports from across his empire. Panic, confusion, species that had been slaves for centuries were suddenly receiving information that could set them free. No, he whispered. No. But it was too late. The transmission had been sent. The secret was out. Nothing could take it back. On the Dandelion, the crew was silent. The Varth weapons had stopped firing. The phase device had failed completely, leaving them exposed. But no new attacks came. Why did they stop? Hannah asked. Doyon checked his communications console. The whole fleet is in chaos. They are receiving reports from everywhere. Uprisings, rebellions. Species that were under their control are fighting back. Myrae was listening to transmissions, tears streaming down her face. They are thanking us. Species I have never heard of. They are saying the humans gave them hope. Jisoo sat down in her command chair. Her body felt heavy. Everything hurt. But inside, there was a warmth that spread through her like sunlight. They had done it. Captain, Yoonji said slowly, the Varth are not done. They still have 40 dreadnoughts pointing at us. They can still destroy us. I know. So what do we do now? Jisoo looked at the view screen. The Dominion hung there in the darkness, massive and terrible. She knew that Thalox was probably deciding what to do at this very moment. He could still kill them. It would not change what they had accomplished, but it would be revenge. We wait, she said. We've done everything we came to do. Now we wait and see what happens next. The bridge fell silent. 47 humans alone in the darkness, surrounded by enemies. But they were not afraid. They had already won. 3 days passed. The Vorith fleet did not move. The Dandelion floated in the center of their formation, broken and wounded, but still alive. Its phase device was dead. Its weapons were useless. One good shot from any of the 40 dreadnoughts would end everything. But no shot came. Captain Park Jisoo stood by the window, watching the stars. She had not slept much since the transmission. None of them had. They were all waiting for the end that might come at any moment. Lieutenant Kim Do-yoon approached her with a datapad. Captain, you need to see this. She took the pad and looked at the screen. It showed a map of the galaxy, covered with thousands of small lights. Each light represented a transmission, a message sent from one of the species that had received humanity's gift. What am I looking at? Revolutions, Do-hyun said softly. The Crow homeworld has risen up against their Vorith governors. The Luminari have declared independence. The merchant clans are refusing to pay tribute. He pointed at the screen. In 3 days, the Vorith have lost control of over 200 worlds. Jisoo stared at the map. So many lights. So many people fighting for freedom. They did not need weapons, she said. They just needed to know that the Vorith could be defeated. They needed to believe it was possible, and we showed them. Communications officer Lee Myrae called out from her station. Captain, the Dominion is hailing us. Emperor Thalox wants to speak. Jisoo handed the datapad back to Do-hyun and walked to the center of the bridge. Put him through. The view screen flickered. Thalox appeared. but he looked different than before. His face was tired. His eyes had lost their fire. He sat on his throne like a man carrying a weight too heavy to bear. "Human captain," he said. His voice was quiet, almost defeated. "You have destroyed my empire." "No," Jisoo replied. "Your empire destroyed itself. We just gave the galaxy a chance to see the truth." "The truth?" Thalox laughed bitterly. "The truth is that the galaxy is falling into chaos. Without Vorath order, species that have hated each other for centuries will go to war. Billions will die. Perhaps they will find a better way. That is their choice to make now, not yours." The Emperor leaned forward. "I could still destroy you. Right now. My weapons are charged. My ships are ready. One word from me and your little ship becomes dust. Yes, you could do that. Then why do you not beg for your life? Why do you not try to bargain?" Jisoo smiled slightly. "Because it would not matter. Kill us and you kill 47 humans. But the transmission has already been sent. The secrets are out. You cannot take them back. Even if you destroyed Earth itself, you cannot undo what we have done." Thalox was silent for a long moment. "Why?" he asked finally. "Why did you do this? What do humans gain from chaos?" "We do not gain anything. This was never about gaining something." Jisoo took a step closer to the screen. "When we first made contact with the galaxy, the Vorath gave us a choice. Submit and become slaves, or be destroyed. You thought those were the only two options. They were. No, there was a third option. Change everything. Break the system that forced us to choose between slavery and death. Make it so that no species ever has to face that choice again. You are fools. Idealists who do not understand how the universe works. Maybe, but we are also humans. And humans believe in doing the right thing, even when it seems impossible." Jisoo paused. "Do you know the history of our species, Emperor? We spent most of it fighting each other. Wars over land. Wars over resources. Wars over ideas. We came very close to destroying ourselves many times. And yet, you survived. Yes, because eventually, we learned. We learned that cooperation is better than conquest. We learned that helping each other makes everyone stronger. We learned that empires built on fear always fall in the end." She met Thalox's eyes. "Your empire was always going to fall, Emperor. We just made it happen a little sooner." The Emperor was quiet. Behind him, his guards stood motionless. On the bridge of the Dandelion, the crew held their breath. Finally, Thalox spoke. "What would you have me do now, human? My empire is crumbling. My people are losing faith. Soon, the species we conquered will come for us. They will want revenge, probably. Or," Jisoo hesitated, "or you could try something new." "What?" "Help them. Share what you know. Not as masters, but as equals. Teach them to use the technology you have been hiding. Help them rebuild their worlds." Thalox stared at her. "You want the Vorath to become... what? Servants? Partners? The galaxy is going to change whether you want it to or not. You can fight against that change and lose everything. Or you can be part of it and keep something. This is madness. This is hope." Jisoo's voice was gentle now. "Emperor, the Vorath are an ancient species. You have knowledge and experience that could help others. You could be remembered as the species that helped build a new galaxy. Or you could be remembered as the tyrants who fell screaming into the darkness. The choice is yours." Thalox did not answer. The screen went dark. For several minutes, no one on the bridge spoke. They watched the Vorath fleet through the view screen, waiting. Then, slowly the dreadnoughts began to move. They did not attack. They did not power up their weapons. Instead, They turned away, one by one, and began to fly toward the Keldris Gate. "They are leaving," Hana whispered. "They are actually leaving." Yunji checked her sensors. "Confirmed. The entire fleet is withdrawing. They are going home." Dohyun laughed. It was a sound of pure relief. "We did it. We actually did it." The bridge erupted in cheers. People hugged each other. Some cried. After 6 months of fear and uncertainty, after coming so close to death, they had survived. But Captain Park Jisoo did not cheer. She watched the Vorath ships disappear into the distance, thinking about what came next. The galaxy was free now, but freedom was not the same as peace. There would be conflicts, struggles, growing pains, but there would also be possibilities. For the first time in 3,000 years, every species in the galaxy had a chance to shape their own future. That was worth fighting for. That was worth dying for. Myre came to stand beside her. "Captain, we are receiving messages from Earth. They want to know. They want to know if we are coming home." Jisoo smiled. Home. She had almost forgotten what that word felt like. "Yes," she said. "Tell them we are coming home." The dandelion turned slowly toward the Keldris Gate. Its engines were damaged. Its hull was scarred. But it was still flying. As they passed through the gate and the stars blurred around them, Jisoo allowed herself one final thought. Humanity had come to the galaxy as the smallest voice in the room. They had been laughed at, mocked, threatened with extinction. Everyone had expected them to fail, but they had not failed. They had changed everything. And as the dandelion carried its crew of 47 back toward Earth, the galaxy behind them was already becoming something new, something better. The Vorath had fallen silent, and humanity was just getting started.